A message from the year 2050. The days you lived without knowing the value of water. Awakening. The price paid for a single sip. Today is July 14th, 2050. It's 4 in the morning. While the city is still asleep, the water lines have already stretched 3 blocks long. Just moments ago, I used my digital card to collect my daily allowance, 1.2 liters of water. As I stare at the bottle in my hand, my mind drifts back to the 2020s, the years of abundance, when you could turn on the tap and watch the water flow, when you stood under it for minutes, sometimes just to cool off. Back then, we were living inside paradise, and all we did was pollute it. In 2025, I was just a child. Now I'm speaking to you from your future, from my present. This is not science fiction. Every word you hear is my reality. If you're watching this video, you still have time to change something. The Great Drying. How the blue marble turned gray. I remember how often they talked about the climate crisis on television. We thought it only meant a little more heat. We were wrong. By the mid-2030s, the first things to fall silent were the rivers. We watched the Euphrates and the Tigris slowly retreat as if it were just another scene from a movie. Then the groundwater disappeared. The soil dried so deeply that the ground beneath major cities began to collapse. Our greatest mistake was this. We believed water would renew itself forever. But in reality, we shattered that cycle. With massive factories, limitless consumption, and an endless hunger to produce more. Class divide. The blue-blooded. In 2050, wealth is no longer measured in gold or cryptocurrency. Wealth is now measured in blue. Beyond high walls live the purified, their gardens still green, their children still able to bathe in water. On our side, a single glass of clean water is worth as much as a month's supply of food. Water has become the deepest symbol of social inequality. Children who go to school today don't study numbers or formulas. They learn how to extract water from humidity. They're taught to collect fog and morning dew, not as science, but as survival. The changing face of war. When the first mass water migration began in 2040, no one was prepared. Millions abandoned their dry lands and moved north, chasing what little water remained, but those places were already overcrowded. That's when we met the so-called water refugees. When massive dams imprisoned rivers, diplomacy failed, and conflict began. The blood once spilled for oil is now spilled for a single sip of water. Strange, isn't it? 70% of our bodies are made of water, yet wars are fought over it. Regret. Your ordinary day is our dream. I watch old videos. How did you look at 10 liters of clean water rushing away with every flush and feel nothing? How did you allow 2,000 liters of water to be used to produce a single t-shirt? Here, we reuse every drop 3 times. First, we wash, if you can even call it washing. Then that water feeds plants. Then it's purified. And finally, we drink it again. You call it waste. For us, it's the source of life. If someone had told me in 2025, take a 2-minute shorter shower, I would have laughed. Today, you can't imagine what I'd give for those 2 minutes. Final words, a message to the past. My friend watching this video, I am your future. And this future is not as bright as we once imagined. This is not the end of the road. It is only the result of wrong choices. You still have time. You can change farming methods. You can slow consumption. You can let rivers flow freely again. Please, when you turn off the tap today, keep your hand under the cold water for 1 extra second. Feel it. Remember it. And don't let that feeling become just a story your grandchildren will never experience. I'm speaking to you from the year 2050. You need to hear me. Because if you don't, this place is very quiet and very dry.